This is where the chapter ends. A new one now begins. Time has come for letting go. The hardest part is when you know all of these years when we were here are ending. But I'll always remember we have had the time of our lives, and now the pages turn. The stories we will write. We have had the time of our lives, and I will not forget the faces left behind. It's hard to walk away from the best of days, but if it has to end, I'm glad you have been my friend in the time of our lives. Where the water meets the land, there is shifting in the sand, like the tide that ebbs and flows. Memories will come and go. All of these years when we were but I'll always remember we have had the time of our lives, and now the pages turn, the stories we will write. We have had the time of our lives, and I will not forget the faces left behind. It's hard to my friend in the time of our lives. We say goodbye, we hold on tight to these memories that never die. We say goodbye, we hold on tight to these memories that never die. We have had the time of our lives, and now the page is turned, the stories we will write. We have had the time of our lives, and I will not forget the faces left behind. It's hard to walk away from the best of days, but if it has to end, I'm glad you have been my friend in the time of our lives. I'm glad you have been my friend in the time of our lives.
We gather this day because life is sacred. Human life is sacred. Melissa's life is sacred to all of us here and following online today. It is sacred in its being born, it is sacred in its living, and it's sacred to us even in death. We are here today as family and friends to honor and celebrate Melissa Reed Boogaart's life, for we come here to give thanks the way her life and ours connected, a beloved wife, daughter, sister, granddaughter, aunt, niece, colleague, and dear friend. We're grateful and we're extremely more because of her life, and we want to thank her today for the gift of her life that she has given us. So in the stories and the memories we share today, may we find comfort and peace that Melissa's spirit is with us in our hearts and the love we share here today. We gather in the shadow of Melissa's sudden death and that none of us were expecting, and even though we want to celebrate her life, we will grieve today too. As Chase said, Melissa and him claimed and owned that they were nerds. And, you know, gaming, sci-fi, Star Trek, Doctor Who. Melissa loved Doctor Who, and the Doctor has these words from us from Green Death episode about grief and celebrating Melissa's life today. Doctor Who shares with us, "You shouldn't feel ashamed of your grief. It's right to grieve. Melissa, she was unique. In the whole history of the world, there's never been anybody just like her. And there never will be another one, even if the world lasts for 100 million centuries." And so we enter this time holding each other in love and the love of Melissa as we come to celebrate her life this day. I'd like to invite Amy Lynn, her sister, to come forward to read a poem.
So this poem is called Joy. The week before Melissa passed away, she messaged me and sent me this poem. And she said, find joy where you can, with a heart. So, joy. Joy does not arrive with a fanfare, on red carpets strewn with flowers of a perfect life. Joy sneaks in as you pour a cup of coffee, watching the sun hit your favorite tree just right. And you usher joy away because you're not ready for it. Your house is not as it must be for such a distinguished guest. But joy cares nothing for your messy home, or your bank balance, or your waistline, you see. Joy is supposed to slither through the cracks of your imperfect life. That's how joy works. You cannot invite her, you can only be ready when she appears. And hug her with meaning, because in this very moment, joy chose you. So music has been big for my grandma, and we spent our childhood playing with the piano and singing along, and none of us can hold a tune, so I'm not going to sing. But I am going to read the words for you guys. The first one is, we're doing Suddenly There's a Valley, and we felt this was fitting for Melissa. Now, do I just pick it up? When you've climbed the highest mountain, when a cloud holds the sunshine in, suddenly there's a valley where the earth knows peace with man. When a storm hides the distant rainbow. And you think you can't find a friend. Suddenly there's a valley where the friendships never end. Touched only by the seasons, swept clean by the waving grain, surveyed by a happy bluebird, and kissed by the falling rain. When you think there's no bright tomorrows, and you feel you can try again, you can't try again. Suddenly there's a valley where hope and love begin. I'm going to invite Chase up here with me. We're going to do the eulogy for Melissa. Thank you. I need that. Melissa came into the world in 1987 with a bang. She started out with a black eye from birth. She was a good baby. She loved kids from an early age. She was always a great, caring, loving big sister. She was helpful from an early age. She even came out and talked to Mom and told Mom that she put the kids to bed, and Daddy. Turns out Daddy was supposed to be putting us 3 kids to bed, but that didn't work out. She grew up participating and competing in gymnastics. Melissa was always a gentle soul that loved to help. We grew up racing dirt bikes. And every race, she would stop and help anyone she rode up upon. No matter how many times she was told how a race worked, her sportsmanship won out. She left no rider behind. She always came in last, but she never minded. In school, Melissa was passionate about SAD, Students Against Drinking and Driving. When Melissa found a worthy cause, she put her heart, soul, and mind to supporting the cause. She had a love for traveling, which came from camping every weekend and racing dirt bikes, to traveling to Jamaica and Mexico with the family. When she was young, you could always find her curled up with a good book. She would get lost in the worlds she read about. Melissa would never miss a chance at being part of school plays, choir, band, or any other opportunity that came her way. She had a close group of friends growing up, and she was the type of friend who would give the shirt off her back for anyone who needed it. A highlight of Melissa's high school days was her trip to the coast with the Pantera program. It was a science-based trip studying aquatic life while living on a boat. After high school, Melissa went to the college for multimedia production. She graduated in 2006. She had a passion for learning and always could teach herself how to do things by reading about them. In 2008, Melissa adventured to the coast with friends. She made many friends along the way, but her heart was always with her family. After a couple years, she moved back to Lethbridge, where she could be closer to them. She made Lethbridge her home. Melissa worked at Teamworks and Select Recruiting as a secretary. She learned so many skills about writing and wording documents in a professional manner. She became many people's go-to editor of documents and could translate what you meant to say into the perfect words. Melissa worked at Sun Life, where she met a boy that she couldn't wait to tell me about. Little did she know that her crush would become the love of her life and her husband in 2019. Before I hand this off to Chase, I wanted to touch on the side of Melissa that I was so blessed to have in my life. First off, the bond with a sister is unlike any other. And the promise to one another that we won't tell mom and dad what we did was sacred. We were always there for one another. We would call each other at all hours of the day, quite often to vent, starting our calls with a pretext to prepare for what was coming. She was my person. Good, bad, didn't matter. There was never anything we couldn't talk about. At work, we would often do lunch, or I'd run over on a coffee break. She would always read over anything important to ensure that it came across the right way. If I ever felt I needed advice or to see if I was crazy or not, I would call, run it past her. She was so reasonable, level-headed, and knew what to say to make me feel better. Her love for animals mirrored my own. We would sit with the puppies for hours. She would keep track of which pup she cuddled to ensure that each one of them got a turn. Her love of my girls showed in the crazy noises they made anytime they saw her. We would frequently take them and Kiko for walks. She even helped me bake a cake for and throw a birthday party for my dog. Melissa had a knack for organizing, and I do not. She would often create systems and organize my homes in ways that were not only effective, but that made sense with how my brain and ADHD needed it to. We shared a love of Christmas and crafting. Instead of gifts, we would spend time together, like going to Aladdin for her birthday this year. I value every minute we got to spend together. Her soul and mine were meant to be sisters. I am so grateful that she was not only my sister, but my best friend. And I'm going to pass it off to Chase.
As I sifted through our photographs, I stumbled upon a labeled folder, Chase and I. Curiously, it held no captured moments of us together. Instead, it brimmed with a collection of quotes, memes, and comics dear to Melissa's heart, familiar treasures that resonated deeply within me. Over the years, she generously shared these cherished snippets, and in their simplicity, they conveyed volumes about her character, her resilience, fortitude, boundless empathy, and the profound love that defined her essence far beyond my ability to articulate. I'd be honored to present a glimpse of that now. The best love is the one that makes you a better person without changing you into someone other than yourself. Melissa welcomed me as I was and supported my journey to the person I aim to be. Promise me you'll always remember, you're braver than you believe, and stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. She helped me to realize that I was braver than I believed, and smarter than I thought, but she was the strongest person I've ever known, and I relied on her strength every day. I'm stronger because of her, and I will hold on to the strength she gave me. I want to hold your hand at 80 and say we made it. I remember grabbing her hand and saying, I want that too. A perfect marriage is just two imperfect people who refuse to give up on each other. She refused to give up on me, and I will always love her. I love you more than I've ever found a way to say to you. I love you in a way that's nauseating to others. I love you not only for what you are, but for what I am when I'm with you. You're my favorite place to go when my mind searches for peace. By the way, I'm wearing the smile you gave me.
So we have one more song to play. Once again, not singing for you. Somebody bigger than you and I. Who made the mountain? Who made the tree? Who made the river flow to the sea? And who hung the moon in the starry sky? Somebody bigger than you and I. Who made the flowers bloom in the spring? Who writes the song for the robin to sing? And who sends the rain when the earth is dry? Somebody bigger than you and I. He lights the way when the road is long, keeps you company with love to guide you. He walks beside you, just like he walks with me. When I'm weary, filled with despair, who gives me courage to go on from there? And who gives me faith that will never die? Somebody bigger than you and I.
Today is paradoxical for us as we celebrate Melissa's life, as we celebrate the joy and love and care she's given us. We also hold in our hearts the pain of goodbye and broken dreams and endings. But part of our time together today is to acknowledge that we have been blessed by Melissa, all of us here and online. Part of today is to thank her for these blessings and to send our blessing to her as she goes on her journey. Life beyond death is a mystery, but Melissa was a spiritual person and believed in angels, and that one day she told her sisters she would be reunited with her mother. So we hope that Melissa is reunited with her mother Lynette, who also died at a very young age of 38, and all her family that have gone before her, and rests in peace and knows that our love and blessings and that we carry her love on, and that maybe she herself is an angel with us on the journey now. Melissa was kind and caring and helpful and compassionate. She had a high emotional intelligence. She was smart and wise and saw good things in others when other people might have given up. She was forgiving and loving and always looked for resolution in relationships. Chase thought if she could say anything to us today, it would be to remember her for the joy she brought into our lives and the world, and continue to support and love one another. I invite us into a moment of silence to hold our love and blessings for Melissa and to send those blessings to her. Perhaps you want to hold your happiest or fondest memory or moments with Melissa. Or maybe you want to send your love through words you hold in your heart. Or maybe there is a gratitude that she has given you that you want to share. Let us take a quiet moment of silence together. Melissa, know that we hold you in our hearts, and the love you share to us will never die, for you are part of us now until the end of time.
Always going somewhere. Yeah, I'm living fast, 90 miles an hour.
No brakes, all gas!
If I die tomorrow, don't be dressed in black. Need a couple favors instead of feeling sad. Tell my mom I loved her, yeah, my daddy too, and to all my lovers,
My words were true. Hey, everybody on the floor, two-step and say no more. Call everybody in the back, jump up and clap your hands.
celebrate what we had. Celebrate what we had. I want pyrotechnics, hella big parade, dressed up and going nowhere, dancing around my grave. No surprise I'm leaving.
I read the rules before I broke them. I broke the chains before they choked me out. Now I paid close attention, really learned the code. I learned to read the map before I hit the road.
Hey yo, I know you never heard this before, but I'd rather lose a fight than miss the war. And I ain't wishing competition or fishing for it. I'm just living in a system, conditions are poor. I've been lost in the rhythm and misinformed. Too many late nights hitting the liquor store.
Well, it's been a long time, glad to see your face. I knew we'd meet again another time, another place. Can't believe it's been so many years. You better grab a chair and a couple of beers. Looking good in your three-piece suit. You know I always knew you'd take the business route. You were always the one to follow the light, and you look like you're doing alright, yeah. Been singing for my rent and singing for my supper. I'm above the below and below the upper. I'm stuck in the middle where money gets tight, but I guess I'm doing alright. I'm alright. It's a beautiful day, not a cloud in sight, so I guess I'm doing alright. I'm younger, they thought we were crazy, but we had the hunger. We kept a lot of friends, skipped a lot of class, been on top of the world and knocked on our. We lost touch, we lost in love, we lost our minds when things got tough. But beating time is a losing fight, and I guess I'm doing alright. I'm alright. It's a beautiful day, not a cloud in sight, so I guess I'm doing alright.
There ain't a whole lot going on tonight in this one-horse town. Over yonder, coming up the road in a beat-up Chevy truck. Her boyfriend Tommy is laying on the horn, splashing through the mud and the muck. Her daddy says he ain't worth a lick. When it comes to brains, he got the short end of the stick. But Katie's young and man, she just don't care. She'd follow Tommy anywhere. She's in love with the boy. She's in love with the boy. She's in love with the boy. And even if they have to run away, she's gonna marry that boy someday.
Anyway, I love you. It's all I have to tell you. It's all I've got to say.
When I need motivation, my one solution is my queen, cause she stays strong. Yeah, yeah. She is always in my corner, right there when I wanna. All these other girls are tempting, but I'm empty when you're gone. And they say, do you need me? Do you think I'm pretty? Do I make you feel like cheating? I'm like, no, not really, cause oh, I think that I found myself a cheerleader. She is always right there when I need her. Oh, I think that I found myself a cheerleader. She is always right there when I need her.
Hey, how's it going? Hope you're having a good night. I love you.
When Life No Longer Makes Sense, a poem for the grieving by Eileen Gale, whose cousin wrote this just this week. The pain is unbearable. You think you may die. What could have possibly gone wrong? You can only cry and cry. The tears, they fall down, down off your face. All the time asking, what is this place? Because sometimes it doesn't feel real, this seemingly pain-filled planet we're on. The depth that one can feel, it's also very unbelievably surreal. And yet, here we still are, although some around us have left. And we may ask ourselves, to what purpose? Is this all a test? This feels like complete and total utter theft. We may not know the why or what exactly to do. We can only grieve right now and trust that eventually we'll know what to do. But in the meantime, we allow ourselves to be unconditionally held by love's surrounding embrace and a tender faith that love will see us through somehow. As we come near the end of our formal time together, on behalf of Chase and all of Melissa's family, you're invited to join them for a time of refreshments and reminiscing here in the Martin Brothers Reception Center. May all of us go forward today with a small flicker of light and healing and love in our hearts. May the memories of Melissa begin to bring comfort rather than pain. May we feel her life and love and gratitude locked safely within our hearts. And may the words and touch and presence of others bring us solace today. And may we be blessed in our coming in and our going out, grateful for a life well lived and a loving legacy left behind. As the doctor says in Eyes of Darkness, death is infinite, but so is your final thought. Your final seconds of your life, it stretches out and lasts forever. And if you hold on to the right memories when you die, well, that could be heaven. May our happy and joyful and loving memories of Melissa stretch out and last forever. And perhaps heaven will touch us. Let us go in peace.